We have reached Thursday. It's a day game for the Red Sox today, a chance to win all four in Baltimore and finish 7-1 on this road trip in the division when they take on Baltimore 135. It is a Thursday edition of Red Sox Now, presented by FanArch. I'm Mike Antonellis. First-timers, thank you. Welcome aboard. Subscribe. We want you to do that. Leave your comments, which you see on the side to my right or left. I guess it would be on my left. We do comments every day. I'll pick 3. I think eventually moving forward, we'll try to do 4 or 5, especially when we get to the playoffs. That will be a lot of fun. But if you could do that, we are really cooking, man. I am pumped with all the interaction we get each day. I try to respond to everybody as quick as I can. And if you do see the Red Sox Now response with their logo, that's our team that is getting back to you. So thank you so much. Couldn't be happier. We're getting towards the 2,000 counts for subscribers, so that is great stuff. Follow me on social media at The Radio Mike. I do play-by-play for the Worcester Red Sox. They're on the road. I don't travel with the team. They're in Durham. Do most of the home games. And I will say last Friday, watching Peyton Toley's one of the best starters I've seen in the minor leagues, especially considering it's his first year. You know, I took everything into account. First year, limited innings, not phased a bit being in AAA. Easily one of the best starters we've seen come to Polar Park. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll get into that. But day game, tomorrow's our final show of the week. If you subscribe to my personal YouTube, we'll do updates over there as well. I got some Red Sox highlights that I produce. But a good one last night, you know, and listen, I know that there are some offensive challenges we've seen lately. I still would rather be built this way. I feel like some of you would rather lose or win 6-5 at times. I do not want those kind of games. Think about this. Scoring a ton of runs right now against and giving up a ton of runs to Baltimore. That doesn't bode well for postseason. Red Sox have shown the ability to pitch against good opponents as well, good hitting clubs. That's going to keep you in more ball games. And man, oh man, do they have the best closer on the planet right now. And, of course, their bullpen went scoreless again, like they just continue to do in games where you're using a certain combination. The high-leverage guys just continue to dominate. And that was a good one. Rafaela to the rescue. That ball that fell in between him and Duran, that can't happen. I don't think it's happened all year. That scored a run. Rafaela's going to take charge. He's a center fielder. I don't know what happened on that. No one communicated. That was weird. But Rafaela made up for it. They hit him 5th. It was a weird lineup. Give Alex Cora credit because, you know, I know we criticize. I don't, because my take on a manager is a lot different. Managers more involved with managing the team, which is way harder than X's and O's, especially in this market. You got to make sure, you know, you bring in different guys. They got to fit in. There's a lot. You got to make sure your coaches are on there. There's a lot that goes on with the manager. But, you know, it was him that said, we're going to put Anthony leadoff. That's worked. He homered to start the game again. But he put Duran and Rafaela in the 4 and 5 spots last night. How ironic that they let a ball drop in. They were a big part of the win. They were 4 for 8 combined. Duran singled in front of the home run that Rafaela was all over. Romy Gonzalez, if you missed it, almost had a pinch hit home run. Carlson caught it right up top the fence. But that was an interesting lineup last night. You know, Duran, Rafaela, 4 and 5. I think, just reading into this a little bit, they weren't expecting. People were up in arms again on social media because of a lefty starting and you had your lefty lineup. And not many knew. Enns was the opener. That's what Baltimore said. That's not really an opener. What he did last night, openers don't usually throw 34, 35 pitches. Usually they just go the 1 inning. He went 2 2/3. So Cora hitting low in Yoshida, back-to-back lefties lower, 6 and 7, putting them back-to-back. I have to imagine he thought Enns would be out of there after 1 inning. and he wasn't. And Contreras came in. It's a pretty good arm, actually. I've seen him over the years, and he was pretty good in the bulk role. But they didn't, that was the way they did it last night. But Rafaela to the rescue. Big win for the Red Sox. Why? I checked on this, by the way. And it's not just Red Sox fans. I mean, national people. And listen, I'm a Red Sox fan, right? But I'm fair. I see people killing the Yankees, and I know that defensively, yeah, they've had their problems and this and that. I know who they're playing right now. I'll get reminded. But regardless of all of this, their fans are killing them. I see Red Sox fans. They have won 11 of their last 15. You would never have known that. They had that hiccup against the Sox. The Red Sox had a hiccup right before that where they lost 3 in a row. They are still right behind you. They're a half game behind you. That's why I say be humble. You got 3 at Fenway Park. The games at Yankee Stadium have nothing to do with the games coming up at Fenway. Yes, you've shown the ability to beat them. I get all that. But once you lace it up and you're facing Max Fried or Keel or Rodon, those are still a good team. They do have some challenges defensively. Grissom is horrible in the outfield. He made another non-catch last night, where it was a really bad attempt at it. But regardless, they're on your heels. And you winning a lot of games right now has kept you a half game ahead of them. Think about this. If the Red Sox had gone into a tailspin right now, they might be the 6th team right now. The Red Sox have been on a great run. They're a half game ahead of the Yankees. They are 2 in front of Seattle, which feels like a ton. And Kansas City's 3 behind Seattle, which I don't think – I said it yesterday. I think the 6 teams are locked in on both sides. Cincinnati's now 4.5 out. They've lost 3 in a row. San Francisco's won 4 in a row. But yeah, it's not that I'm not taking Kansas City seriously. It's just that it would take a lot for them. Like, they still have to go on a run here. And Seattle and the Yankees and the Red Sox are playing at a high level. Yankees do have a long trip coming up. So that will be interesting to see. But the Yankees are still on your heels. Toronto wins again. You're only 4 back of them. But I like, with everything we talk about, the Red Sox are the 3rd best team in the AL, and they're creeping closer to a potential 500 record on the road. They're 2 under on the road, something that I've examined a lot this year. There's only about 4 or 5 teams that are over 500 on the road. What more can you say about Brian Bayo? Absolutely fantastic. He's been fantastic for months. ERA is now under 3. It is 6th in the American League. He was really good. His changeup looked really good. Attacking hitters, I just love his approach. Him and Wong, obviously, they have a brothership. When you really break down his, and Lou pointed this out last night, he's given up 3 earned runs or less. Let's see. In pretty much, in all but a couple of starts. He gave up 5 earned runs and 7 earned runs. So in 22 of 24 games, he's given up 3 earned runs or less. His ERA this month is 2.27. It was 2.79 in July, 2.87 in June. It was 4.03 in May, but he had a 7-run game allowed in there to Atlanta. And 3.27 in April. And he missed some time. Which we forget. But when you look at the body of work, I mean, we constantly say 2-starter, 2-starter, 2-starter. I always thought Bayo was a 1, potentially. Not obviously with Crochet. But if he continues to do this a little bit and finds his ERA like at 2.7, 2.6, holy smokes. You got 2 of the top 10 in ERA in baseball. I'll go back to this. I will compensate offensive struggles to have the pitching. You got 3 solid starters and you got a good back. I don't want to say good, great, really good. I mean, dominant at times. Back end, you're going to get Slayton back. That plays in postseason because the games are smaller, shorter, or you can go to your bullpen quicker. And they haven't had that, and they have this guy. This is ridiculous. 41 straight batters without allowing a hit. I mean, I've seen a lot of baseball in my life, going on over 40 years. It just looks too easy. I thought, the one guy that I will tell you who I thought made it look this easy, you'll probably never guess who I'm going to say. It was Koji. Remember Koji when he pitched? Not this long, but when he came in the postseason, it was ridiculous how easy it looked. This is why I don't need a lot of metrics on certain guys. Do you care about metrics or advanced numbers on Chapman? You shouldn't. What do your eyes tell you? It's filthy. Here it is. You can't hit it. I'm going to beat you. And this is an unbelievable run. He's allowed 1 in 20. No earned runs in his last 34 games. I mean, 6 earned runs all year, 3 homers. It's just an unbelievable season. And a free agent sign, which many... I was not in this camp. I'm not. It's not a I told you so. It's just that they didn't have that position. And I was okay with bringing in veterans. I've talked about this. $13 million. I'd rather, I'll put Whitlock or something. No. I want the guy that's been there. I want a guy that wants to be here. This is the thing about baseball that we are getting so away from. There are other factors that matter. Everyone just looked at statistics, right? Oh, last year he didn't have any command. He's pitching in Pittsburgh. He wanted to be here. There's a picture of him somewhere in a Red Sox uniform. You know what I mean? Like, I just thought, all right, he's, he was in Pittsburgh, Texas, Kansas City. He was pretty good with the Royals. I know he wasn't good at the end with the Yankees. But it was someone that really wanted to be here. And same with Bregman. That tells me something. It really does. I mean, it doesn't always mean it's going to work out. But he chose here. I mean, I have to imagine teams were in on him. That's not a lot of money, what he got this year. For that position, that if you don't figure it out, look at what happened with Philly. They lost their closer to suspension. They had to go out and give up what they thought was going to be part of their rotation to get Duran. That was a good deal for Dave Dombrowski, but do you see what the value they put on that? You see the value the Padres put on having Miller, who is not closing, and you just sign this guy. And it's just incredible. And I know I'm repeating myself over and over again. I can't think of 3 better moves in baseball than what the Red Sox did in the offseason, because you got he could be a Hall of Famer in Crochet if this continues. You got a Cy Young award. If he doesn't win it, he's going to finish 2. Bregman missed 7 weeks and it is probably your MVP, and you got the best closer in baseball. That's 3 moves. 3 moves. And yeah, and listen, a commitment to spend, right? Bregman got a lot of money. They did a lot with Crochet to extend him, and we'll see what happens with Chapman. But just think about this. Importance to the team. I don't know if it's just because the closer goes out there and pitches an inning, but you've kind of needed every ounce of what he's done. Or, you know what I mean? Like if he's 26 of 28, if he was 26 of 31, which he's, his career is pretty good. If you go back and look, he's blown 5 saves in a season twice. That's his career high. So he's never blown 6 in a season. But say right now he had blown 5. And you lost those 3 games. You know, things might be different. You see the margin for error is slim. You know, I don't expect him to go 28 for 28 at this point, but even 26 of 30. If he blew two more of these saves and still had an ERA of like 1.4, you could be on the outside looking. It's interesting, but you know that, and that is the given. It's like a geometry problem, which I took in 10th grade and did not. I was really good in math, but not geometry. If you look at the teams the Red Sox have had, right, that position in the World Series runs, off the top of my head, Kimbrel, Koji, Papelbon, and Falk, they were pretty damn good. And you need, you know, and that's what you need here. This is great. David Hamilton, you know, the games, I watched all the games he was back. I watch a lot of the road games for the Woo Sox, either live or on the iPad during the Sox game, or I watch it condensed. I'm able to do that, which is cool. Just going fast forward a lot. He looked different. You know, sometimes when guys come back to AAA, Toro fought it, struck out 4 times his first night back. Sogard had a real tough time. He did not. And I'm not sure if he was told, listen, just go down there and get some at-bats. Pretty good chance you're going to be called up soon. And it's been great. You know, he's playing every day. It's something that I've harped on with younger players not playing every day, which I've been critical of them doing that. They haven't had a lot of options. It's hard to find a lot of veterans that you're just going to have on the team. You know, I think they have Romy and Ref Snyder. Like, you can't have... And Wong's getting older. You're not going to have a ton of those guys. So, yeah, you know, Hamilton, it's not easy, you know. But, hey, he was in the big leagues, and he didn't fare well not playing a lot, which, you know, listen, that was his role, and you can be critical of that. And they did send him down, you know, and it wasn't just, I think sometimes even when he got in there was the base running stuff, but now that he's getting a chance to kind of get at bats, and he knows he is, 8 for 18 in 6 games with a home run, 3 RBIs, and what I like is he's not striking out a lot. That's something he's been known for. 3 of those games, multi-hit games. Enjoy it, you know. He's been a surprise. But I'm not surprised playing every day because I've seen this guy play a lot. Game-changing speed. Second base is his position. And, you know, you hope it just continues. And I think having Nate Eaton up there is a perfect guy that can back up. You know, again, the Red Sox had adversity with that position. Meyer was supposed to be the guy, right? That didn't work out. You do have Hamilton, you do have Romy, and you do have Nate Eaton. Roster move, which is going to happen for Thursday. Lowe is going on the paternity leave, and Ref Snyder will be activated. So that will be the move for the Red Sox. Let's get to your fantastic comments from Wednesday here on Red Sox Now. We love those. At Real Map Lazon, hopefully I'm saying that right, Lauzon, Sox may have a Hail Mary pitching move. I agree with you. Absolutely. The news about Kyle Harrison, 38 pitches on Tuesday, comes out. Makes him available if they need him Saturday. I'm still a Peyton Tolley guy. The Woo Sox game notes announced. Now, this is interesting. Shane Drowan, who was activated, he had thrown 3 games in Greenville. They do have minor league rehab, by the way. So you can send a player on a minor league rehab assignment. So Drowan, because a couple people asked me why he was in Greenville. I'm like, he's there rehabbing. And people didn't understand it. They thought he was outrighted to Hyego. No, the AAA guys, even AA, they will rehab in the lower levels. So the game notes say Drowan to start. Yeah, so they give 2 scenarios. Drowan to start, Tolley will piggyback, or Tolley will start and Drowan will piggyback. I'm not buying it. I haven't asked anybody because I in my position, there's feel. I'm not going to ask anyone with the Red Sox or in player development, because you don't do that in my position. I just don't think Tolley's – I think that's covering. Drowan will start. Tolley will be in the big leagues. That's what I think. I could be 1,000% wrong. I just don't. In the fact that, but let me take this back, rewind. The fact that in either of those scenarios, if Tolley does start or piggybacks, he's not going his traditional 5. That tells you, and like I said this last week, once we see him limited, that to me shows he's going to the big leagues. I would rather have Tolley pitch in the big league Saturday. I really would. And pitching, young pitchers are completely different. They develop quicker. They can have success easier than hitters just because it is hard. Now, Anthony is a different story, but even he scuffled a little bit right off the bat. Young pitchers can go up there and dominate right away. And I really don't think that, to me, between him and Harrison, it's not even a comparison. He is leaps and bounds better than anyone that's come through this year. And I think he should start. I don't mean this in any disregard to Kyle Harrison, but, J.P. Ricciardi and I talked about this. He really struggles to get through 5 innings in AAA. That's not good. What would that look like in the big leagues? Now, what are their expectations? They might be okay with him going 3 innings. But without, they don't have like that piggyback guy, a bulk guy. Unless Moran stays up there. Slayton's supposed to be active, and as you're watching this, maybe that was the counter move. But if Moran stays up there, this is, I'm trying to map out what they would do. They could go Harrison. Moran is almost 3 innings. He almost threw 3 innings for Worcester last week when I was on the call for a game. He's kind of the only guy. I know Matz went 2. Bernardino is not really a 2 to 3 inning guy, maybe 2. But if Harrison was the plan, I think Moran would stay. But I think it should be Tolley. But the thing with Tolley, if he goes up there, he might only go 3 innings. Maybe they both go up. Right? Who knows? Or maybe, so we'll see how it works. Obviously, your bullpen's in a good shape. But I don't know if you want to blow out the bullpen just on Saturday, but they might have to. Yeah, and again, Buehler. You have I forgot about Buehler. So that could be it. So, and all depending what they want to do with him. So you could go a Harrison, Buehler, Matz, Bernardino. I'd rather have Tolley, but I don't have a saying in it. You think if I told Breslow my decision, what he would say? At Desjardins, is that right? 25-20, team MVPs in order: Crochet, Bregman, and then Story. If Roman Anthony had started the season, he'd be 3rd. Possibly. Think about this. He might have 25 home runs right now if he began the season, right? But I like that. I never think pitchers should be MVP, but I'm telling you, the Crochet thing is, and even Chapman. Put Chapman 4th. That's what I like about, this kind of debate is good to have when you could argue who the MVP is. A lot of guys contributing. At Emily Talks Sox. Emily's great. I see her a lot on my personal YouTube. Good comments. What if they called Harrison up? And on his start days, they had Bernie open. Yep. Get a solid 5 from Harrison. People saying he struggles after 5. Then go to the bullpen. I feel like that could be good after Bernie's start opener. He was electric. Yeah, I would be okay with that. They usually do the opener based on they're obsessed with, the lineup. Like if there's, Bernie started that game in Baltimore because Baltimore has more lefties at the top. Teams usually just change the lineup. I don't really care about that. I'm all for that. A Bernie, yeah, you could do 1. Harrison, even if he gave you 3, is 4. Buehler 2, 6, and then Matz. Yeah. We'll see how your bullpen looks because, you assume today, and I always feel weird doing that. You think you're going to get 7 from Crochet, but baseball's not perfect, right? Like everyone's just it's kind of the NFL treatment now. Oh, this game's easy. It just doesn't. It's not. It just doesn't work like that. Friday is still TBA. Okay, so Friday and they have Friday and the pitching matchups on the Red Sox game notes have them TBA. Let me double check this somewhere else. Yes, they got TBA the whole series. So I mean, they obviously it'll probably be May unless. So I'll let you in on a little secret. Usually, it would be the spot of Dustin May, right? The fact that they have TBAs listed all three, and May's not. I mean, May they haven't had any days off, so he should start. I think Toley's going to be the guy. I do. I think Toley's pitching Friday. I really do. That's how we're going to end it. Great show. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on X, all my social channels, at The Radio Mike. Instagram is just my name, Mike Antonellis 726 if you want to follow. TikTok as well, Snapchat, you name it. Enjoy the game on Thursday. We'll talk to you on Friday talking about, hopefully, a Red Sox 7-1 trip.